Alright, so last week was filled with a bunch of really unexpected Battlefield news, and we heard a lot of pretty words. I've been saying this a lot. They're talking some big talk, right? They're talking about basically fixing a lot of the mistakes that they've made. And on top of that, they're also specifically mentioning some things that we've been wanting to hear for a while, such as returning to Battlefield 3 and 4, acknowledging that they have to win us back. But we haven't really talked about the dirty details. And the dirty details will be mentioned in this video because we're going to talk about all sorts of controversial topics that see endless amounts of debate, such as destruction, features of the game, movement, gunplay, all this sort of stuff. I am sure the comment section will be livid. So let's jump into the video, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoy the channel, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and swing by the streams as I stream every single day on this very YouTube channel and my Twitch stream. Follow your boy, first link in the description. The first topic I'm going to bring up in this video is one that I actually have seen a ton of violent, angry debate over. And it's not a topic you would think, but it actually is. It's the topic of destruction within the next Battlefield. Apparently, people have incredibly strong opinions about this. Some people, as always, are fairly rational, and other people literally just don't care and are on the side of utter chaos and have no idea about, map design or game flow or, making certain areas of the map playable. No, they just want to blow everything up. So how should DICE go about destruction in the next Battlefield game? As we all know, Battlefield 2042 was very heavily criticized for not having quote-unquote satisfactory amounts of destruction for many people, even though in some people's opinion, they admit that the destruction not being there didn't really matter for them. The only thing that we know so far about the next Battlefield's destruction is that they're going to be adding caliber-based destruction, which shouldn't really amount to the things that people want. At most, caliber-based destruction would probably just be a quote-unquote immersive thing, because you can shoot a window and a bigger caliber will probably completely shatter the window, whereas a smaller caliber will leave bullet holes and then eventually shatter the window. While that's cool, that isn't exactly what the Battlefield community seems to be looking for. As I said, they want to blow shit up. So how much shit should you let people blow up? I think that's the biggest question. And in my opinion, the answer is a lot of things, but not all things. And I think that's very reasonable. For instance, you could build off of Battlefield 3 style destruction. I think that would just be a fantastic starting point. It wasn't too much, it wasn't too little. When buildings were destroyed, you couldn't entirely flatten them to the point where they were useless. Even in their most destroyed states with all of the walls blown out, there were still certain portions of the building that you could not destroy that strategically allowed you to still utilize the building if the area you were hiding in still provided cover. Things like 1 or 2 walls per building only being partially destroyable so that there is still enough cover to make the map semi-playable still. I am absolutely never in favor of the ability to flatten structures as people want from Battlefield Bad Company 2 and even from Battlefield 5 if you remember in the Pacific DLCs on Solomon Islands. I also think DICE should revisit some of these destruction events that occur. No, I'm not necessarily talking about Levolution. That is something sort of cinematic and I think just a completely separate thing, even though it could fall into the realm of destruction. I'm talking about things that can happen mid-match that can help you clear areas or can really just turn the tide of a match if you do it correctly. If you played Battlefield 3 on Grand Bazaar, you would know that there were certain sections of the map that you could shoot with rocket launchers that would bring down sides of buildings, which would then fall on people, which would then result in massive multi-kills if you had the knowledge in order to utilize that. I think that certain areas of the map, not all areas, should definitely have something like that, and I do think that that adds something to the game. Pretty big first topic there for this video, but definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Destruction is always a very heated topic of discussion because there are just so many different opinions. I do want to know what you think. Now, the next few things I'm going to split up into community features and just, I guess, features of the game. The number one thing that I think DICE should completely avoid in the next game, at least in certain, use cases, is AI. I hate AI in Battlefield 2042. I do not think you should be able to launch an AI server and upgrade every single weapon in the game without ever having to try. I think that's incredibly cheap and stupid, and I think they should completely disable these XP farm servers, these bot-only servers, and the ability to create an AI server so that people can cheese all of the attachments out of every single gun in the game. I think AI should only be in the game if the server isn't full, and then as players join the server, the AI gets booted out. I think that is the only place AI serves a purpose for, and I think anything past that is just dumb, and it should be removed. Now, switching gears from something that should be removed to something that should be added, or multiple things that should be added, a server browser. Just a server browser. I don't need to elaborate. You guys all understand. Platoons. Oh my God. What is going on with DICE? Give us platoons in the next Battlefield game. It's a community feature. It's important for maintaining the community of Battlefield. Give people their platoons so people can have their little cute clan tags and make their servers with the clan tag in it, form a community, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, I also mentioned the ability to make servers with the clan tag. Yeah, we have to have the ability to make custom servers in the next Battlefield game. It doesn't have to be old school like Battlefield 3 or 4. You can definitely have a way more streamlined and integrated ability to create your own server in the game. But the point is that feature should be in the game, no ifs, ands, or buts. And another feature that should be in the game that every other game that is even remotely worth anything is doing is a built-in training range. I am so tired of having to type in a portal code or maybe just start an AI server to have the ability to test specific things. There should be a well-made and completely fleshed out training range that can allow players to get better at the game, have a better understanding of the mechanics of the game, mess around with attachments, and just see what's up. I don't think there's any excuse not to have that. And last, but certainly not least, how should the next Battlefield game's movement be? Movement in Battlefield is always a constant #1 issue. Everyone has a different idea of how the movement should be. There are people that want absolutely no movement and are delusional and think Battlefield is some sort of tactical milsim game. Well, wrong. There are also people that want, teleports. Okay, also wrong. And unsurprisingly, the answer lies somewhere in between all that, okay? I think they just need to keep it simple. They need to take some options from previous Battlefield games. Just as an example, bring back crouch running from Battlefield 5. Bring back the slide from Battlefield 5. Now, before I segue into other movement options, I'm going to talk about the slide specifically. The slide in Battlefield has always been controversial. But the reality is, most of the people that complain about the slide are literally just bad players. I'm sorry. I have never met a good player in my life that complains about the slide. Because the reality is, if you have a better understanding of how to use the slide, you realize that it's not nearly as effective as people claim it is. It's just a way to slide into cover, or it's a different way to engage a peek. And a lot of people like to say, oh, it's not realistic. It's absolutely realistic. I could run outside right now and slide on my knees in my grass if I wanted to. All right? And you can too. Pause the video and go test it. And I don't want to hear in the comment section, oh, you'd never do that in war. Well, buddy, there's a game called Arma 3, Hell Let Loose, maybe Escape from Tarkov, Arena Breakout Infinite, right? All these slow milsim games that focus way more on realism because that's what they're supposed to be. Those games are for you. Battlefield has always been an arcade, sort of thing with a quote-unquote more realistic look, but in reality, the gameplay has never been realistic. So whether or not you are a fan of the slide or you aren't a fan of the slide, there's no debate that it is popular in gaming today. And I do think DICE is actually putting it in the game in order to have it be similar to other titles that are out. And I do think that DICE will put a slide in the next Battlefield game. Now the question is, how should they do the slide, assuming there is one? I think they should take inspiration from Battlefield 5. I think Battlefield 5 slide felt good. It added a unique gameplay element, and it was much more useful than the utterly destroyed version of the slide from Battlefield 1, which quite literally does nothing. If you go play Battlefield 1 right now and slide, The only thing it does is get you killed. It is a completely destroyed gameplay feature as a result of the Battlefield community needlessly complaining about it and then just having it nerfed into oblivion. And then guess what, guys? The people that complained about the slide, they still got shit on without it. Now, obviously, there are way more movement options than just the slide. Like, the base speed of the movement. How fast should you be able to move? I don't think they should really change anything. Just have a basic Battlefield sprint speed, okay? Don't do anything ridiculous. Now, speaking of sprint, I think they should get rid of tactical sprint. I think it's annoying. I think it's unnecessary. When I play video games, I want one version of sprint. I do not want two versions of sprint. I think it's irritating. And my entire shtick with this movement thing is, I think a lot of people don't understand how absolutely essential movement is in order to just be able to play the game. There has to be some sort of movement mechanics in the game that are more advanced, that offer players of all skill levels the ability to actually move around effectively and then outplay. I think when people talk about movement, it's just automatically blown completely out of proportion. One side wants, no movement. The other side thinks that the other side wants teleportation and wall running and the ability to float in midair. And it just becomes a complete mess of a discussion. It's a very complicated subject. There are a lot of moving parts. But I think if DICE just does very simple things and keeps to the spirit of Battlefield movement, the way it's been for probably 12 years now, and then doesn't do anything crazy past that, I think it'll satisfy the majority of people. You'll never satisfy people fully when it comes to movement. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to wrap up the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the channel, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and swing by the streams. I stream every single day. I typically go live around 2 to 3 p.m. EST. Try to let you guys in EU watch a little later in the afternoon. So check out the streams, and I will see you guys in the next video.